this bloke right here, James, has forgot to record his audio, so the podcast was almost ruined, but I've edited him out, but leaving him in the top corner so you can all laugh at him while he speaks to himself. Enjoy.
Everyone, welcome back to the Couch Commentators podcast. Look, apologies for last week. We all pulled up lame from quite a big weekend, so we needed a couple of days extra rest to get ourselves refueled and ready for this week. But we had a huge weekend of sport, so you guys have anything to say before we get started?
Hashtag blame James.
It was a good weekend, had by all, but James's fault. Lucas was the other one who sold it on and couldn't do the podcast by himself, but you know.
I tried, mate. I tried, but
you did get ghosted by Dan. To be fair, like
hey, I fell asleep.
Fell asleep.
I went and laid in bed and fell asleep because I was that fucked.
That's a grown man falling asleep at 6 p.m. Make of that what you will, but so this week joining myself, Lucas, on the podcast, you've got Dan, Brandon, and James.
Hello.
Heyo.
Fantastic.
The boys. We got all four of us for once.
First time.
Yeah.
History making.
We were bound to get four blokes on here eventually. Thankfully we did. So I think we should just dive straight into it, hey?
Sounds good.
So, look, Sunday, the UFC 285 was on, and there were some absolutely massive performances from a few certain fighters. I think we should start off with Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Jeff Neal. Brandon, I know you've been on Shavkat's hype train for quite a while, mate. So, look, I'll put it to you straight away. How was that?
He's pretty fucking good, mate. Oh, look, it was interesting to see him go toe-to-toe with Jeff, and the striking was pretty superb, to be fair. And then the way it finished, wow. Like, it just makes you think, sure, he's got to go up another level to beat the big dogs, but that was something different, honestly.
Yeah, look, absolutely, I agree. James, you have anything to add, mate?
You did see how it finished, though. He the standing choke, which was wild, and it was like last round, last minute. It was almost to ruin his streak of 17 finishes and 17 fights. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it was fantastic, and I would say, you know, the type of choke that was, you couldn't really classify it as a rear naked choke. It was almost, you know, like Brandon and James fighting each other at their house when they were about 10 or 12 years old, and James being the bigger brother having Brandon in a headlock. That's how it was. But
James would know I would never tap, so like it was always mum and dad would be coming in the room.
I black out before I tap out. That's what you are. Yeah, look, I mean, Rakhmonov, he really justified the hype, you know. He battled through, as Brandon said, some tough spots in those rounds. Even got hit, you know, pretty cleanly in that third, but, you know, he got that submission. 17-0, and look, the world's his oyster, really. Where does he go from here? Will you look to the top five?
Sure.
You know, a possible Wonder Boy
it'll be very tough to beat the top five are strong in that division. It's stacked.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you think matchup-wise, let's go off the top of your head. You've got Leon Edwards, which I think, you know, that's quite an interesting fight. Kamaru, now that's pretty difficult, but you know, that's why, you know, styles make fights.
I think he even called out Colby as well after the fight. He either said Colby or a title fight. So.
Colby's a great fighter, but let's face it, he's sitting on the sidelines right now because I'm pretty sure he's in the process of suing Masvidal. So yeah, how's that?
And Colby hasn't fought anyone other than Usman in like fucking God knows how long.
Yeah, that's right. Now, look, another fight that happened on that fight card. It was for the females, I want to say flyweight championship, 125 pounds. Yep. And that was Alexa Grasso versus the long-standing champion Valentina Shevchenko. Now, I only caught a little bit of the action.
It was another submission win. Like, all three of our main cards submission wins. And I think Grasso had some of the better counters in striking, but Shevchenko definitely over the whole fight was dominating, and even after it she said, I dominated this whole fight, and then she got it with another choke to finish another great fight, honestly.
Well, that's the thing, and you know, it's a game of it's really a game of centimeters, the UFC and MMA in particular, because one One little step, one little mistake, and as you see, Grasso gets the back, sinks in that rear naked choke, and gets the W. New Mexican champion, which makes, I think, currently 3 Mexican champions.
One interim, because you got Rodriguez as the interim.
He'll lose that after he loses to Volkanovski in a few months' time, but that's okay.
Our boy Volk.
John Jones versus Cyril Gahn. So obviously we all know what happens in that fight. Johnny Bones Jones. Yeah, look, some might say the GOAT.
Are you going to go back on your
not at all.
GSP? Never.
He's not, mate. He's not the GOAT. John Jones is not the greatest of all time. But look, you can't deny that performance was inch perfect. He closed the distance on Cyril Gahn. He lit him up on the feet for that brief period of time before taking him down and choking him out.
Level change, takes him out, slowly strangles him like a snake, pretty much.
Yeah, it was impressive. Dan, did you happen to catch any of the UFC on the weekend, mate?
That's why I've been quiet. I didn't watch any of the fucking UFC whatsoever.
There you go.
Not gonna lie.
What's your opinion?
I've been
What's
sitting
your
here
opinion
watching
on who the GOAT is?
Conor McGregor. Yeah,
You're 2% Irish as well.
Yes.
I see.
Yes. I've been sitting here dancing to my camera for the last 2 minutes.
Back to what James has said in the last fight with Valentina and Grasso, where Grasso said she was practicing that. Now, after the John Jones fight, Henry Cejudo came out on Instagram and said that he and John Jones had been practicing the closing the distance, the takedown against the cage, forcing the fight, the wrestling match between him and Gahn before ultimately catching in that submission. So that was something they absolutely practiced because there was footage of it on Henry Cejudo's Instagram. And that's exactly what they did. And John Jones gets his hand raised once again. Now announced, not quite officially announced today, but Stipe Miocic did say on his Twitter that they are planning a fight with John Jones during International Fight Week in July. So
that'll be huge.
That will be an absolute. Look, it is far away, but they need to do their camps. But that is a massive fight that is going to be extremely exciting.
GOAT versus GOAT is what they're calling it, but obviously Lucas says,
"Not me, mate, not me." I'll steer clear of that.
Did you see another GOAT in the ring? He was practicing for his up-and-coming film Roadhouse. Jake Gyllenhaal.
Jake Gyllenhaal. I actually did see the videos of that.
He looked bloody awesome, Jake Gyllenhaal.
The punches were very fake.
Hey, mate, he can swing. He can swing.
He could definitely swing his knee as well.
Yeah, he may have took a little. He carried on a bit too much. I think the ref should have jumped in, but
great fight that was.
Yeah, well, hey, look, we'll move on to something we would have covered last week if we had some soldiers on this podcast. We'll move on to the cricket. Now, the third test, Australia and India, was over in all of about, 2 days and maybe a session on the third day. It was really interesting because, not a lot of players could make runs and, it was almost over before it started. Brandon, you have any insight on that one, mate?
Look, I'll throw to my other, my brother. He loves the old cricket. He was watching it religiously, so,
James. Dan, mate, have you been watching the cricket much?
I didn't watch this test, but I have heard some talks around after the test match that I can't remember who it was, but one cricketing legend said, should Pat Cummins stand down as the captain, seeing how we won with him not being captain?
Yeah, that's
not Paddy C.
It's a bit rough, but
look, it's a bit rough.
If it has to come down to it.
Yeah.
I think Smith already came out and said that Pat's the captain. I don't want to take his job.
And I don't even think Pat's going back over for this next test.
Hopefully we get the draw. If the draw comes out after you saying it last podcast,
I wonder what the odds were paying for the draw.
Yeah, we should all jump on it.
Should have put that as the lock of the week.
Yeah, lock of the week. Leachy's the lock. Moving through it pretty quickly at the moment, guys. We'll head over to horse racing. Now, the Australian Guineas was held at Flemington on Saturday. So that was won by jockey Michael D and the New Zealand filly Legato, who's come over here for a smash and grab. Now, look, she's won the Group 1 with a booming finish after a fall between the 400 to 300 metre mark, which saw a couple of jockeys and a couple of horses go down. But so just some positive news, though. One of the jockeys that was quite badly injured, Ethan Brown, has had some successful surgery on a couple of different injuries he had from the fall. And as of 9 a.m. today, he's in good spirits and talking to his family. So that's
good to hear.
Good to hear.
Good to hear.
Did you guys happen to catch the Australian Guineas on Saturday?
No, I did not.
Not necessarily. We were out looking for houses, but do love a good smash and grab from a New Zealand horse, I will say.
Well, that's the thing, she's a very good filly. Her last run in New Zealand was just all wrong. She jumped, she went straight to the back of the field. There's about 18 horses in front of her come the turn, and how hard it is to have a jockey navigate you through that. So she never really had a chance there, but she had, I'm pretty sure it was 7 starts for 8 wins after that race, and all of her wins were, dominant margins.
Yeah,
but she comes
stuff.
to Australia, and she's paying about $9 at the jump. So really, if you go purely on form, you back her.
So you'd really want a tip like this from Lucas instead of your
you really would, but
0-2
instead of Mr. Owen. Instead of Mr.
What
Owen
was this
here,
week?
Bloody hell! No, we didn't have one. We didn't have one.
Bakari Kari.
Or Pakari Kari, yeah.
Yeah, you put one on Instagram, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I've got an absolute lock this week, which I'll explain.
Absolute lock.
I'll explain. Yeah,
I'm
very
salivating.
Soon. But look, Jacquino. I'm sure you've all heard of the good horse Jacquino. Now, look,
Definitely.
he won the Weight for Age race. Has just skipped my mind at the moment, but he won a Weight for Age race at the start of the Autumn Carnival against the likes of I'm Thunderstruck, and he's gone back to verse his other 3-year-olds in the Australian Guineas, and the whole talk leading up was, can he get a mile? Can he get a mile? Because if he did get a mile, realistically, if you're beating I'm Thunderstruck, you're probably going to beat a bunch of 3-year-olds.
Yeah.
Now, he absolutely did not get the mile, which was a bit of a shock to the $2.20 favourite, especially his trainers, Mick Price and Michael Kent Jr., who said that he could get that. But, nothing sort of helps your horses more than ownership or being the trainer of it.
The trainer's always going to say, it's going to win. It's going to win.
Yeah.
Trust me, put $1 million on it.
Put $1 million on, that's it. Now quickly, we'll just move to Sydney. Now, superstar jockey Zach Purton flew in from Hong Kong and took both Group 1s at Randwick on the day, riding Artorias to victory in the Canterbury Stakes, where he got a split with about 150 to go and absolutely motored home. It looked like he was shot out of a cannon. And usually with Artorias, mate, it's easier said than done when he wins, because he just loves to get back and run up the backside of other horses. Yeah. And then he also won the Randwick Guineas on the horse Communist to take both Group 1s there in Sydney on the day. So fantastic for Zach Purton, who was on a flight back to Hong Kong the next morning after a big one. So, yeah, well, and you know what? He had a couple of rides on the day, and not all of them were favourites, because as you guys would know, who gets the favourites in Sydney? J-Mac. J-Mac had one winner on the day, and Zach Purton really put on a clinic on the horses he was on. So, fair play to Zach Purton coming over here on horses paying, Artorias $10, Communist $18. That's probably the longest price horse that
Huge
Zach
money.
Purton's run for years.
Should have been on it.
There was a couple
in Hong Kong.
Posts on the old punters and dribblers that were talking about who is the best Australian jockey, and they were really talking up old Purton. They were high on his supply.
Yeah, look, he is a fantastic jockey, but I think J-Mac, being over in Royal Ascot, and he's had a couple of winners there now.
It's like they forgot how good he's been over.
Yeah, that's right. And as you said, J-Mac's gone to Ascot. He's won there William Buick, who is one of the top jockeys in the UK, came to Melbourne for the Melbourne Cup Carnival last year, and I'm not sure if he had a winner at all. And he had a lot of rides because he rides for Godolphin over in the UK, so he obviously has connections with Godolphin. So they've given him some rides in Melbourne, and not a thing's happened.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're talking a lot about goats in these couple of sports.
look, mate, I tell you what, goat gets thrown around a lot these days. It's very sad to say, but look, it absolutely happens. I think sport crowds want to witness greatness and the goat of something.
Yeah, it's been in our generation that started it.
Honestly, the first time I think I ever heard the term goats was referring to either Messi or Ronaldo.
Yeah, that'd be the same for me.
That's how I feel. But now it's almost every sporting podcast I listen to, like the Couch Commentators, every second post on Facebook, on
Follow us on
Bleacher
TikTok,
Report, ESPN, it's always about who's the goat of this bloke's the goat of that. It's something that everyone wants to be a part of.
Well, like over in America, you got fucking LeBron being the goat of fucking basketball.
That's right, because he is.
Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady being the goat of NFL.
That's right.
That's right, he is. And John Jones being the goat of UFC, so it's like crazy.
Cut. Yeah. Yeah, so look, I'll just quickly dive in with a Lucas's best bet for the
baby.
for the weekend.
Get those black books out, boys. Get them out.
Get the black books out, guys. Now, look,
Where's my black book?
now this is if the horse wants to take its place in the Sky High Stakes this Saturday. Now, the Sky High Stakes is set to a staying distance. There is a horse by the name of King Frankel that you can currently get at $4.50. Now, this imported galloper has come to Australia and won all but one of his starts so far, and he has looked absolutely fantastic in each of those. He had a very tough run a couple of weeks back first up, but he still got the win over a horse that had already had a run under its belt this campaign. So my best bet will be Sky High Stakes, King Frankel.
Oh, baby. Lock it in.
Lock it in. All right, now look, we'll move on to everyone's favourite part of the podcast, which is Guess the Famous Athlete, which is held by Dan and Brandon. Now, as you all know, guys, there is a 60-second timer to guess the famous athlete. So, boys, over to you.
Alrighty.
Mm-hmm.
Brennan, are you ready?
Oh, mate, I'm bored ready.
Guess the famous athlete. 60 seconds starts now.
NRL.
No.
Track and field.
No.
Basketball.
No.
Ooh.
What else? AFL.
Nah.
Soccer.
Nope.
Oh, goodness.
Swimming.
Nope.
He's got you hoodwinked.
Olympics.
Nope.
What other sports are in Australia? Union.
Nope.
UFC.
Nope.
UFC. Chess.
Nope.
Guys, start throwing out some sports. God damn it.
Racing.
No.
Tennis.
Yeah, tennis.
We're getting into it.
Go the big three. Say the big
30
three.
seconds.
Yeah. I can't say that. You can't say the name yet. Australian.
Nah.
Spanish.
Nah.
What's fucking
Swiss.
Roger Federer?
Swiss.
Fuck, you just said his name.
He's done it. That's why he's the GOAT. I'm the GOAT at this, guys.
I think we should have someone else, pick the famous athlete next week, because goodness me, you picked a couple of famous blokes.
Well, guys.
Famous athlete. That's the point of it.
Look,
if you guys think you can run it better, you two can do it next week. We'll pass the baton. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, look, we can now move on to our NRL talk for the week.
Oh.
Now, I'm not speaking on behalf of everyone here, but I think at the same time I am. But how good is it to have the NRL back?
How good is rugby league?
Good.
Yeah,
good.
Yep. Coming home from work on a Thursday, knowing that there's going to be footy on later that night, going back to work the next day, Friday thinking, bang, 2 games of footy, and then your weekend filled with footy as well. If you're ever at home and bored on a weekend, you know you've got footy there to watch. Now, I don't mean to bring this one up first, but I sort of have to because it was the first game played. But round 1, the Parramatta Eels versus the Melbourne Storm. Now, the Melbourne Storm had a very hard-fought win in Golden Point, and the Storm also kept their round 1 win record to 21 straight, which is fantastic. And the Storm got up 16-12 over the Parramatta Eels. So I'll start off with Dan first. Dan, how do you feel about this one, mate?
Mate, it was a good game. Like they put up a good fight, the Eels. Got it to 12-all at the end. Didn't really watch much of it, but
I was gonna say, as soon as you said fucking,
it's pretty good, fucking.
You did not watch a second of this game.
No, I watched a bit, but I didn't really watch it.
I was cracking up while listening to what he was saying.
Yeah.
It was fucking good. It was fucking good game.
Yeah, there's absolutely no chance that bloke watched a second of that game.
All I know is that Harry Grant scored in fucking Golden Point.
Could have said 2 shit teams, no one cares.
Yeah. Look, I didn't watch any football. My team wasn't playing, didn't care.
All right, Brandon, how do you think?
It was good. Mate? How good is Hop good is all I wanted to say. That guy is a fucking weapon. The offloads, the tackles, even for fantasy footy, you're like 80 points. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yep. Fantasy footy if you're a child, but Supercoach if you're a man, 99 points.
Easy coach. Easy coach.
Easy coach.
James, now being the Parramatta fan, mate, I would love to hear your thoughts on this and where you guys go from here.
Yes.
I believe everything you just said.
Except for them coming first.
Except for that part, yeah. Let's move on to the Warriors versus Knights game. Now, look, the Warriors come away with a nice 20-12 win. And in a game that absolutely happened that I did not watch, I would love to get James's opinion on this one. James?
Yeah, I did watch the game, so, I'll give my opinion here. Yep. I think...
When did we ask that?
Kalen Ponga... Yeah, sorry, guys. I'm actually part of the podcast, if I want to throw my hat in the ring here, but... Ponga got his HIA, which was pretty, bad for him. Other than that, the forwards for, Mitch Barnett, who was playing his old team. 1 second, my camera is not working, so that's just, give me a second, guys.
Fucking hell, rookies these days.
That's okay, it happens. But yeah, as you said, Brandon, with old mate Mitch Barnett, word is he had a bit of a blinder, is that correct?
Oh, mate, it's fucking killing.
But
now, Dan, mate, is this a game that you were able to catch?
I started watching it and then got bored and went to my phone.
My God, you are on a sports podcast and you're doing this.
Yeah.
It was Warriors first night, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, that is true.
I apologise to all Warriors and Knights fans out there, but this bloke goes to the Dragons, so don't worry, his time will come.
I want to talk about Chansey, but my camera is still not turning on. I think it's dead.
All right. Well, that's no good. But Brandon, look, as hard as it is to not see your beautiful face, I would still love to hear what you have to say about old Chansey Nickel Clockstad, Nicole, whatever your name is, mate, depending how you feel on the day.
Chansey is an absolute weapon, and he plays on 90% heart. And when he originally signed for these guys, I thought, wow, this is a great buy because Raiders fucked him over, firstly, or they made him sign on unders when he was arguably having his best year of his life, of his career. They made the grand final that year. He was one of the top fullbacks in the comp. And then once the year after, he got a little injury and Savage was coming up for the grades and they just dropped him out of nowhere.
Yeah.
But now he's playing outside with Sean Johnson, Tamari Martin, and a decent forward pack now. He's looking a gun. And this game, I think he scored one. It was a good performance by Chansey.
Yeah, it'll be fantastic to see him stay fit for a whole season as well, and build on his good start to the season. Now we'll head to. I wouldn't say it was the upset of the round. That's reserved for another team later on. But the Broncos and the Panthers. What a win for the Broncos. 13-12 over the reigning premiers. So, Dan, I assume you watched this game, mate. Do you have any input?
Yeah, fuck. It was a good game. Like, Herbie Farnworth was fucking great for the Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
And fucking, I just want to say at the end of the game, it made me happy that Luai and Salmon was having a disagreement.
Weak got dog.
The weak got a dog.
Weak got dog.
And the field goal from fucking Reynolds was just beautiful.
That's tongue-in-cheek, Salmon, by the way. Just if you, I know you and your mates like to listen.
Yeah. No, I stand with Ricky.
No, the field goal from Adam Reynolds when it was 12-6 was fucking a great idea.
Yep.
Fucking,
Ended up being an absolute masterstroke, didn't it?
exactly. That shows how smart he is with his football.
Well, that's right. If there's one player you can count on in a situation like that in a close game, you'd want Adam Reynolds being that guy.
100%.
Yeah, Brandon, mate, have you fixed your issue?
Bro, there's no issues being fixed. Right now, they're just going to be seeing a picture of me holding the trophy.
That's okay. That works well.
Either way, I watched the game and I thought, great game. Adam Reynolds, clutch, always has been. And if he stays fit, Broncos look like they'll be a top 8 team. Mm-hmm. Panthers, looking a little bit underdone. Their attack isn't flowing good, if that's how I'll put it. But interesting times for them. Who they got this week? It's another tough game. I think Souths.
Rabbitohs on Thursday night, which is fantastic.
That's a good Thursday night game.
Now, guys, look, we'll head over to the early kickoff on the Saturday, which happened to be the Manly Sea Eagles versus the Canterbury Bulldogs. Now, the new look Bulldogs came out to Four Pines Park and versed a Manly team that, before the season started, not many people were picking for, a top 8 or even arguably a top 5 spot, but they looked absolutely fantastic on Saturday.
Yeah.
Cherry Evans with a hat-trick, Tommy Turbo, without being, as outstanding and superstar-like.
They didn't rely on him as much.
He had an absolutely great game. Now, Brandon, if you're ready, mate, did you happen to catch this one?
I did watch it. They'll still be looking at me with the trophy in hand. But yeah, man, Turbo played a different role this game where he would make the break and he would kind of stop and look for other people because he's still, obviously, you got to ease back into that hamstring. You don't want to go too quick onto it. But their forwards, Manly, they're looking good. All of them are playing off each other. DC is going good. Even Cooper Johns as a backup half is another added threat to their team. Look, their outside backs, they have speed galore and KO Weeks and what's his name?
Ruben
Stabby Cooler. Talatau Cooler. Ruben Garrick. So many good points.
Wait for Jason Saab to come back. He is absolutely rapid.
I forgot about Jason Saab. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I see them top 8, 100%.
Yeah, I'd argue they'd even be better than top 8. I could see them being a top 5 team with when they're all fit. Dan, did you catch the game, mate? Do you have any other thoughts on that?
Surprisingly, I actually fucking did.
Oh shit!
No, I agree with Brandon. The Manly forwards were fucking insane. Olakau'atu and fucking what's the other fucking forward?
Kelma Tuolangi?
Yeah, Tuolangi. They were fucking great, honestly. Yeah. And Jake
Trbojevic, 80 minutes in front of him.
Yeah, just absolutely folding people as well. Just folding people in tackles.
And I tried to say before, they didn't really rely on Turbo as much. But he was still there pretty much in everything.
Now, guys, the Bulldogs, I don't want to go past them without speaking, but were there any worrying signs for you guys? Watching that, I thought to myself that Burton looked really flat, and I don't want to say average to make it sound bad, but for lack of a better word, I have to use the word average. He looked uninterested average. What do you guys think?
He was not up to Burton's standards, what he should be.
Yeah. James, what do you think, mate? I know you have a strong opinion on stuff like this.
I think Burton and Flanagan just need another older, stronger half to carry the team.
Is that Josh Reynolds' music I hear?
The prodigal son?
It's very well could
be. Where's the Burton bomb? Where's it gone?
Yeah.
I haven't seen a Burton bomb in so long. That's the one thing I want from the Bulldogs.
Now, we'll move on, blokes, to the 5:30 Saturday game, which was the Cowboys versus the Raiders. Now, guys, you have any thoughts on this one? I personally thought it was I didn't think it was a very interesting game until about the start of the second half when they started to even things up. And then that last, 15, 20 minutes, very intense, a lot of back-to-back footy. End-to-end footy.
Cowboys continuing their form from last year.
Yeah, and the Cowboys, once again, proving that, they're an absolutely great team. Brandon, mate, what did you think of that game?
Oh, look, it's sad seeing Chad Townsend play so good as a Sharks fan. But him and Drinkwater are making a pretty good connection at the moment. Just hold on. We have camera.
Oh, my God.
We've got liftoff. But, their backs are crazy. Even Murray Tuolagi, weapon. All right,
yeah,
getting the camera ready.
Even
they can see my face.
Now, Dan, did you have any thoughts on that game, mate?
Mate, as I said, fucking Cowboys are fucking just backing up their form from last year. Raiders looked well in the second half, like scoring tries, but obviously Cowboys were just too good for them.
I did pick Raiders in my top 8, Smokey, but everyone was like, "Oh, funny."
Yeah, we'll see.
Look at it
That's
now.
right. Now, guys, we'll head over to the headline game on the Saturday, which happened to be the Sharks versus the Rabbitohs. Now, the Sharks were without their superstar halfback Nico Hines, but look, in my opinion, they still played a very, very good game, and with Nico Hines there, it could have been completely different. But once again, full credit to the Rabbitohs for getting the 27-18 win. I thought it was a fantastic game, probably my game of the round. Skill-wise, team-wise. Brandon, being a Sharks fan, mate, I'll pass it over to you, and I want to hear all your excuses.
I have wrote it on my phone. I got a list, so I was just thought I'd...
We're going to be here for another hour.
So, no Dally M Player of the Year. That's obviously Nico Hines. You said that one already. Poor refereeing by Todd Smith. Whose name's Todd Smith? Mate. Just 2 forward passes in quotations.
Guys, I'm sorry. I thought he was joking about his list. He actually has a fucking list.
Lucas, do you not know who this is?
Hey, guys, it's my time to talk. Sin Bin. I mean, come on. If you didn't see it at first, that just shows how blind he was as a ref.
Can we just start talking over the top of him?
Okay, yeah. So, that was pretty much my list. Other than that, I think Sharks killed it. With Braden Trent at half, we looked good. We looked good for a team without their main halfback. I don't know. I think it might be the year of the Shack.
Fair call. Dan, anything to add, mate?
Mate, all I want to say is the Rabbitohs' first try, Cam Murray literally threw Lachlan Ilias over the line.
Yes, how can we forget that?
Abstraction.
How is that a try?
Yeah, that was bloody awesome. That was bloody
double
awesome.
movement or obstruction. Look at it again.
All right, guys. I think it's time we now move on to the biggest upset of the week.
Phins up,
boys.
The Phins Up.
Phins up, boys.
Absolutely. The Redcliffe Dolphins, not the Dolphins, Redcliffe Dolphins versus the Sydney Roosters. Now, I think it's absolutely poetic that the Roosters, who, how do I put this? I won't say anything, but the Roosters take the L against the brand new team of the 2023 NRL season, the Redcliffe Dolphins, in 28-18. Now, first thing I want to say, boys, is it honestly seems like Anthony Milford has zero chance of making an NRL return at this stage because that was a good performance by Katoa.
Even though he got -2 on fantasy.
The whole game he did he?
I think it was -2.
Oh, well.
He got... Was it 1? Yeah.
Oh, no, it was Pereira that got
Anyway.
-2, yeah.
Fins up.
Fins up.
How good was it seeing the Roosters fall to the mighty Dolphins, Bennett's Dolphins, first game at home, first game ever, and to beat the Roosters by that much was just so good to see.
Absolutely poetic.
Poetic justice.
I was on my way home from playing golf in the city, but that drive home, you listening to it on Triple M, I was shaking my head in disbelief every 45 seconds when something was happening. I think I heard in the space of about 5 minutes, Kaufusi levelled about 3 or 4 Sydney Roosters players.
Yeah.
And one of them was his ex-teammate.
And one of them was Brandon Smith, who probably deserved it. So that's fantastic.
Jeez.
Nah, just joking, cheese, mate. You'd have had a laugh at the end of the game with him, so it's all right. Dan, anything else to add to the Dolphins game, mate?
Mate, all I want to say is how good is it to see the Sydney Roosters lose?
Look, it is quite fantastic.
Phins up. Did you see the bloke with did you see obviously all the red fins, but the one bloke who had 8 of them on his head?
I did not
He had
see
a
that.
massive
That is
fin
awesome.
mohawk. It's pretty good. I'll bring it up for you loads later. It's good stuff.
That'd be good. Brandon, anything to add, mate, or shall we move on?
Oh, I mean, the game was good, obviously, but seeing Bennett cheering down on the field as well, and then what was the quote he said in the press conference? It was good effort or some shit like that. Just some small niche
Just a classic
saying, just
Wayne Bennett thing to say, isn't it?
Is what it is. You guys didn't believe me, but we knew we were going to win.
Yeah, he had full confidence in the boys.
Lucas, do you really want to move on? Are you sure you don't want to stay in this game?
Look, we're going to have to. I feel like if we get it done now, it's easier. The Gold Coast Titans defeating the West Tigers 22-10 after a fantastic defensive display from the blokes from the Gold Coast at Leichhardt Oval. Now, I'm not one to say fold the club, but I would love for us to fold the club because goddamn did they give me hope 2 weeks ago against the Raiders.
In a trial.
Look, the Tigers look absolutely clueless in the attacking 20 metres of the opposing team. I don't know what else there is to say about it. I don't want to go too much into it, but James, being an expert NRL/rugby league analyst, I would love your thoughts on this. Brandon, mate, what do you think?
We watched the game together, me and James, and it was it's an entertaining style of footy. Last week, 2 weeks ago, we were praising them because they beat the Raiders like this, but you guys just passing almost every play, it resulted in a lot of errors this game, and that really killed you guys.
Yeah, I also swallowed my heart about 4 times.
and go on first tackle in your own 10 and you're spreading it to Nofaluma. It's wild to see that kind of footy. But and then doing it in the opposition 20 when you get into the attacking zone, it just wasn't working.
Noffa gives me an absolute heart attack, mate. He really does.
Another thing I wanted to talk about is not starting Appy Coruscant, your captain. Yeah, biggest signing was just another brain snap.
If I keep hearing people say this, it's going to do my head in. Coruscant, for a reason, missed the last couple of weeks of our preseason. There's a reason he didn't play 2 weeks ago in a trial. It's because he had a calf injury. Now, also, how come the Panthers can do it last year in a final series and not bring him on until about 30 minutes into the game, but the second the Tigers do it and copy that Panthers blueprint they put down, it's the fuck Tigers are stupid.
Because it's the Tigers.
No, Dan, he's arguably keep your mouth quiet, bro.
Arguably your best player, and you guys were 12-2 down, and then you put him on to save us, please, Appy, do something.
Hey, once again, mate, if he was not fit for a full 80, then you trust the coaching staff, and his name's at the 9 this week. So we'll see if he goes a full 80 this week.
Very true, very true.
All right, let's hop on to the last or the next part, should I say, the round 2 tips for the NRL. Now, obviously, there's a lot of these, so we'll get through these rather quickly. So what we'll do is I'll say the game. I'll rattle off your names, fellas, and you tell me who's going to win. Okay, Panthers, Rabbitohs. Dan.
Rabbits.
Brandon, what do you think?
What did I pick?
That's too many words.
That's too many words already.
Way too many words. I'm pretty sure I went Penrith because they're not going to lose back-to-back. I just can't see it happening.
Interesting. James, what are your thoughts, mate? Oh, that is a great... that is the name of the episode right there. That is the name. Panthers hit back. I've gone with the Rabbitohs because in the opposite way to Brandon, I think this is the time they do lose back-to-back. Now, next up, the Friday... For some reason, the Friday 6 o'clock game has been mixed up with the Friday 8 o'clock game because don't tell me the Eels and Sharks are at 6 o'clock. That's annoying.
Ridiculous.
Eels, Sharks, 6 p.m. Let's go to the Sharks fan first. Brandon, what do you got?
I'm picking Cronulla because we're going to win the comp, and
many
hopefully
words.
this time the ref doesn't fuck us.
Too many words.
Okay, maybe I'll ask someone without the tinted glasses on. Dan, what are you thinking?
I'm going the Eels.
And now James. That's fair. And I also think that the Sharks will start 0-2 because they are missing arguably the best player in the game, Nico Hines. And without Nico, they are a completely different team.
It's tough. That's tough.
8 o'clock game. James, Broncos, Cowboys, mate. Who have you got in this battle of the teams from Queensland? Wow, fair enough. Brandon, what have you got?
I'm going to Cowboys. Yeehaw! baby.
Yeehaw. Okay. And Dan, what are you thinking for this one, mate?
Yeah, I'm riding the Cowboys as well.
On the Cowboys. I'm going to have to side with James here. I think that win last week against the Panthers will give them a lot of confidence. Saturday, 3 o'clock game, boys. Dan, Roosters, Warriors, what are you thinking?
I'm going Roosters to get upset 2 weeks in a row. So the Warriors.
So you're going Warriors. Okay.
Picking the Warriors.
James, what are you thinking, mate? Fair enough. Brandon, thoughts?
Yeah, I'm of the same belief. I think Roosters should win this one.
Yep. And in a classic thieving way, Roosters hit back.
Oh, that's a title right there. That's a title.
Now, this is an interesting game. Saturday, 5:30, the Redcliffe Dolphins against the Canberra Raiders. James, who have you got for this game here? Raiders, fair enough. Brandon, what are you thinking, mate?
Fins up, baby. Fins up, baby.
Fins up, that's all I need to hear. Dan.
Yeah, I'm with Leachy. I'm going Phins Up.
I've been putting my fin up this whole time.
Look, I would love for the Dolphins to go 2-0, and that's what I am going to tip as well. Dolphins for me.
Beautiful. Fins up.
Now, in what could be a difficult start to their season, the Bulldogs against the Storm. Can the Bulldogs get a win over the Storm, boys? Brandon, I'll start with you.
Yeah, look, I don't think so. Their attack's weak, and I think Melbourne should pump about 30 points on them. I'm going.
There you go. Dan, what are you thinking, mate?
Yeah, I'm going Melbourne as well. They're getting too strong.
Do you feel like a big win's coming?
Yeah, I feel like 30 to 40 points.
Okay, fair enough. James, what are you feeling, mate? That's all four of us on the Storm. I think they'll be too strong. Now, Sunday, 4 o'clock game, the West Tigers against the Knights at Leichhardt Stadium. Brandon, what are you thinking here, mate?
Mate, I'm actually, as much as it pains me to say I'm going for the Tigers this one, I think Newcastle just haven't looked good. And at least if you guys play somewhat your trial form, you might be able to do something.
Fair enough. Dan, what are your thoughts, mate?
I'm very torn between this one. I'm not sure, but I think...
Ooh.
Yeah, Tigers
So
will
you're
just
tipping a draw, mate?
Nah, Tigers will just
Tipping a draw.
Tigers will just get the win.
Okay, because if you want to tip a draw, you can say
Yeah,
that, but then you've got to
for it.
then you've got to put $5 on tab and show everyone that you've done that.
No, I'll go the Tigers in the close game.
Okay, and now James, mate, what are you thinking about that game? This is impressive. That's 3 blokes picking your Tigers. And
Please tell me you're not on them. Please tell me.
look, I agree with James. Why do the NRL hate Sunday football? Now, look, I don't, because at least we don't play on a Friday and it ruins my whole fucking weekend when the Tigers lose beforehand. But I'm going to go with the Tigers as well. I think last week was too good to be true. And I feel like Luke Brooks' redemption arc is going to happen.
Unleashed.
How's that? Now, last game is the Dragons versus the Titans. So the first game for the Dragons this year against the Titans outfit that looked very, very strong defensively last week. Dan, I'll start with you. What are your thoughts, mate?
I mean, it's obvious who I'm going to go for. Dragons. Never
Dragons,
won't back them, even though
Braden,
they
mate,
break my
thoughts?
Look, I am not picking the Dragons because I think they're going to be dog water this year. Actually, Leachy's lock of the week this week is Titans at $2.
No, they're not.
Yeah, mate, they're the outsiders. Plus, Khan Pereira at least 1 try. If it's looking like 2 tries, I might boost the odds a little bit, but we'll see how we go.
There you go, guys. You've heard it. Leachy's lock.
Yeah, mate.
Leachy's lock. That was fantastic. I'll be jumping all over that with King Gambit in a
100%.
multi. James, mate, thoughts? All right, boys. Well, look, does anyone else have anything to add at all?
Fins
Yeah,
up.
folding the club.
Fins up.
Fins up, baby. And let me just get the odds up. $6.75, lads, if you want to get on that multi right there. So
Oh, is that with
Not with King's Gambit as well.
no
so if I
King
chuck
Frankel?
that
King
into it,
Frankel.
let me just
Lob
King's
King Frankel. Ooh.
Frankel. Let me just get that one up as well. Like this. Hold on a second, lads.
$27 odds here. $27.
We might be on something really nice. Oh, responsibly, of course.
1-800-858-858. The Gambler Topline, guys.
$28.35.
Goodness me, where's my phone? I'm getting on that today.
That's dirty.
I am getting on that today.
I would not be getting on it because I love my dragons.
All right, guys. Well, look, thank you for joining us for another edition of the Couch Commentators podcast. Now, we will be back next week to discuss all things this weekend about sport. Thank you, guys.
Beauty.
Peace out.
Let's go.